You guys, they're finally here, and I feel like I've been waiting an eternity for these, when in reality, it's only been like 2 or 3 weeks. But our buckets are here, which means that we can get the cams back in, the valve covers, the cam gears, the timing, and then we can get the motor back in the car. I am so pumped for this. Oh, and before I forget, what's going on, and welcome back to the channel, guys. Look at that, we got a nice pile of fresh buckets over here. I'm still waiting on one from the dealer, so hopefully they have that one in stock, and Melanie and I can swing down to the dealership when she gets off work and go grab that last bucket. But we are ready to start getting this thing back together at this point. So before I even go slapping buckets in here and checking valve lash again, I'm gonna go through here, spray some brake clean on this. I need my little book over there real quick, actually, hang on. Where's all my measurements? Was that it? I saw like circles. So I need to go through, see what, actually, let me open all these up and see what sizes I have, so that way we know where to put stuff on here. Buckets, so there's a 438, 442, open, 458, 438, 438. Why do I have so many 438s? 456 and a 458. All right, let's start with those ones. Let's get those ones on there first. We'll put these ones back and we'll figure those out here in a second. So we're gonna start with the driver's side exhaust cam because I already have all 4 of those buckets pulled out right here. So let me get the, actually, while the motor is like set up like this, let me grab some brake clean, spray off down there, turn on the compressed air, blow everything and anything out of there. We'll get some assembly lube put on those buckets and we'll get that exhaust cam temporarily put in there. We want any contaminants out of there. And we'll let that drip for a minute. I want to make sure all contaminants are out of here. We're gonna re-put on assembly lube everywhere that needs it. We're gonna make sure everything is wiped down. I can still see contaminant, so. So now that I've got my diagram pulled up, let me go ahead and grab the buckets. Let me get some assembly lube put on them. Let's get them in their homes right here. I'm actually just gonna go through and time lapse all this stuff. This is all stuff you guys have already seen. If there's anything new that comes up, I'll stop and like walk you guys through it. But for the most part, this is all easy stuff you guys already know how to do that I showed you. So let me validate all these measurements on the exhaust side. If exhaust side is good, I'm just gonna leave the exhaust cam bolted in for now. If it's bad, we'll pull it back out. We'll get the correct measurements again and hopefully not have to do that, but we'll do it if we need to. Dope, so I have good news and bad news. The good news is this side is perfectly clearanced. We have 8 thou on the top, 10 thou on the bottom. Absolutely perfect. The bad news is we're gonna have to order more buckets from that side because I had to kidnap one of them for this side. That may have been the one that I'm still waiting on at the dealer. I don't really know. But now that this side is like perfectly clearanced, we know everything is good. I'm gonna go ahead and get everything sealed up on this side. So I'm gonna get these cam caps sealed up, get everything torqued down nicely, get the valve cover put back on. We'll get these front facing cam seals in, and then we'll start dealing with that side. But honestly, this whole measurement system that I did over here, and I made that whole video on how to calculate valve lash, honestly, it worked absolutely perfectly. Everything's golden, everything's within spec. Couldn't be happier with the way that these cams are right now for lash specifications, I guess if you want to say that. So we're gonna use some RTV, it's ultra gray. It's what I normally use for sealing the stuff up. I have brand new valve cover gaskets also, so that way we can get them on here. So let's get this side sealed up so that way no like deposits or anything is gonna get in this side since I just cleaned these. So let's get this side knocked out. So what you guys saw was probably just a long drawn out time lapse. So this side is done. I need to torque that down. I'm going to torque that down before I forget. So this side is done. The cams are in, valve lash is set, everything's clean, everything's lubricated, good to go. Cam gears are torqued down on this side. Over here, I've got 2 valve buckets that I need to grind down like 2/1000 of an inch just to get valve lash correct. And there's one exhaust cam bucket that I need like one size bigger, but technically we're still in spec, so if I can't get the bucket, we'll rock that one. It's just like everything's at 10 thou and then one of them is at 12 thou. It's still within spec. I would just much rather have everything the exact same if I can, but if I can't get that bucket, if Subaru or anyone can't get that for me here in the next day or so, we'll run with that one. But this is kind of where I got to stop for tonight, but this video is far from over, so I need to run to Home Depot, do a live stream. We're going to pick this back up in the morning, so I'll see you guys in the morning. All right, so it is the next day, and my goal for today is to get this engine in the car, or at least get it ready to be dropped in the car. So we have all the buckets reground with the exception of one. Now, I was trying to do this with a Dremel, and then I quickly realized that I am not steady enough to hold a Dremel and try to grind a bucket. So let me show you guys kind of what I came up with, and it works like extremely well. Credit to whoever came up with this, because I came across this idea on YouTube. I don't remember the channel name, but if it comes to mind, I will link it like somewhere like right here. So I went out and I bought a drill press, another tool to add to the garage, but I specifically bought this to grind buckets. So what I've been doing is I've been taking the buckets, and as you can see on the inside, there's the nipple. Now the numbers on these buckets will no longer be relevant, but what I'm doing is I'm just sliding the bucket underneath of that, and I'm using a sandstone attachment off of a Dremel down here. And what I'm doing is I'm just taking maybe 1 to 2/1000 of an inch off of that nipple just to get the size of these correct, because all the sizes that I need are of course on back order for like 2 months for some reason, even at the dealership. So we're gonna make do with this, and it's been working great so far. So I've already got a couple of them knocked out on the engine. These two I had to grind down. Those ones are solid. Now intake over here is 8 thou, 8 thou. This one's 9 thou, but it's still within spec. I'm gonna run it. And this one right now is at 6 thou, which is technically in spec, but I wanna at least bump that up to 7 or 8 thou if possible. All of the exhaust side is already good. I didn't have to grind any of those ones. I believe I have all the buckets in there. Yeah, the entire exhaust side over here is all good. All of that is 10 thou with the exception of one of them, which is 12 thou, but I can't get that bucket either because that one's also on back order, so we're going to run it at 12 thou. Technically, it's still within spec. I did ask Brian Crower what the tolerances are on these cams, so we are good on that. So let me grind down this last bucket over here. Once that one's ground down, we'll get the cams set back in here, validate and verify all of our valve lash measurements, and then we can assemble this side of the head, get the cam gears on, get timing on, and put it back in this thing. Pretty happy with where we're at now. I don't know how well the light's gonna allow it. So that's a 7 thou feeler gauge. This right here, this back bucket is the one that we just did. So look at that. We have 7 thou there. This one's at 8 thou, and then both of these, I believe, are also at 7. And check it out. Remember before how we couldn't rotate the intake cam by hand? Ooh, look at that. I've fixed it. It's Gucci. So 7 thou on that one. 7 thou on that one, and then all of these are set to 10 with the exception of the one that's a little bit high. But let me swap this around. Okay, so now for exhaust we have 10 thou, 10 thou. Let's rotate these boys. Whoop, and we got 10 thou, 10 thou. I think that's the one that's a little bit big. Try 13 thou. No go, no go. Let's rotate these boys. No go. No go. Sick. Everything is now in spec. Yes! Jesus, you guys don't understand. That literally took me all morning to grind 3 valve buckets. I did a lot of it off camera, but our valve lash is solid. So this means we can reassemble this side. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna pull out the cams. I'm gonna clean them with brake clean one more time. I'm gonna wipe off the top of the valve buckets, make sure there's no schmoo on there, put assembly lube back on the valve buckets, back on the cam journals, and then back on the cams, and we're gonna get this reassembled. There is some sealant that needs to go on this cam cap here and both of these cam caps, so we're gonna use some RTV Ultra Gray like we did on the other side. So I'm just gonna time-lapse getting through this guy all assembled, because like I said, I wanna get this motor in the car, so let's do it. Okay, so that was probably the longest time lapse in existence, which I'm kind of sorry for, but I just went into like full mode of I need to get this done. Our tune is next week, so I just like busted this out. So the motor's back in the car, clutch is engaged, everything is put back together. That's not Matt, I thought that was Matt. Clutch is engaged, everything feels solid, everything feels nice, everything is like super smooth at this point. Why? I did have one of the motor mounts on backwards on the driver's side, so I had to pop that motor mount off with it in the car after I had everything bolted up and flip it around. I had to pull the up pipe off. Huge pain, but everything's seated at this point. So, motor, like I said, is in the car. Everything bolted up very nicely. I have our new fluid dampener on here, so if you guys are going to be installing one of these, you do need to trim the backside of this cover. There's just a small lip that you have to cut off. Extremely easy to do, and it bolts right on there. I still need to torque this thing down. I just don't have a tool yet. I need to go to the auto parts store tomorrow to grab a tool for this. Everything is like nicely sealed on both the heads. We have our valve covers on there. Everything is like beautiful at this point. Our up pipe is back in, so the game plan for tomorrow is to get the rest of this fully assembled. I want to be able to start this car by tomorrow night, or at least it won't probably be the next video. It'll probably be the video after that. I don't know. In one of these like next 1 or 2 videos, we're going to be starting this thing. So incredibly excited to have the motor back in the car. Finally, it feels like it's been on the stand forever. So this is very big for me. Also, like I said in the last video, if you guys wanted to win this Chemical Guy's Best Detailing Kit, now is your opportunity. So down below in the comments, just let me know what you guys would use it for. Let me know what car you'd use it for, and why you'd want to win it. And then I'm just gonna go at random, choose someone from the comments for whoever wants this, and then they'll be the winner, and we'll send it out to them. So excited to give that away to one of you guys. But I am beat. My shoulder is killing me right now. I need to go inside, relax for a little bit, have some dinner, and then edit this video. So that is all I have for you guys on this one. Sorry if it was a little short-lived or anything like that, if it was just long time-lapse stuff. You gotta see me put a motor in a car. And I would have gone through the steps of installing the motor, but I've installed this motor multiple times now. So if you guys want, you can definitely jump back to those other videos. I know someone's gonna ask like, hey, how did you get the motor and the trans to like slide in? It's all about angles. You gotta get the angles right between the transmission and the motor, and then they'll just like, boop, it'll literally slide right in. It's absolutely perfect. But anyways, like I said, that's all I got for you guys on this one. So with that, if you like the video, you know what to do. Go ahead, hit that like button, turn it whatever color it turns for you guys. Black, blue, green, yellow, chartreuse, magenta, cyan. Color of the day, we'll go with turquoise. Color of the day. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, hit your boy up one of these corners. No idea which one I'll put it in quite yet, but you don't want to miss this car going to the dyno or our 6-cylinder coming back from Outfront Motors. But with that, I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, homies.